Psychic Medium Lauren Rainbow here, and I want to talk to you about manifesting from your heart space. I know manifesting is a big concept and a word that you hear a lot out there. But if there's one thing I've learned about creating the life you desire, it is possible. You can manifest the life you dream, but it's a little bit more work and intention than sometimes it's set out to be. So let me share with you what I've learned over my 25 years of work with spirit and how I've been working to manifest the life I dream. So let's get started. The first thing to know about anything manifestation, it's wonderful to dream up the life you want, and dreaming into and setting intentions is a beautiful part of this process. This is the process that you've all heard so much about: setting an intention, manifesting your dream, and dreaming into more of what you want. And that is so true. But manifesting also has to do with action as well. And if you're going to be lazy to manifestation in your life, don't be surprised if it doesn't happen as fast as you would like. That doesn't mean that some miracles certainly don't flow for us. I've had a very fluid life. There are still, though, some things, folks, I am learning to manifest better in my life. And if there's one thing I've learned about the things that I don't manifest as well as others, it starts with my belief in the ability to have those desires come true and or my worth. And I still work on that. So by the way, my manifestations are still not perfect. There are still things I'm trying to create more of in my life, but then there's some wonderful things I've been able to actually manifest, which is working for spirit. And I create sacred travels around the world. That was something I didn't know I was going to do 15 years ago. And so the reason I share these with you is because sometimes there's ways that we can easily fall into alignment with things. And we fall into alignment with things when we really feel like that's an easy accomplishment. And so I'll use an example that when I first went to Egypt in 2010, it was as a group experience. I was a participant and I was going to Egypt to connect with parts of my soul that were feeling called there since I was a young child. So just the concept of going to Egypt as a participant was all that was in my mind at the time. And I remember the day that the journey manifested, it was that I had gotten an email from a friend of mine, and it was the right time in my life. And she was like, I'm going to Egypt. Here's the journey. Here's the itinerary and everything I wanted about it, including that it opened up with the goddess Sekhmet, which, if you click back to one of my other videos, I do a whole talk about my connection to Sekhmet. And so to see her right at the top of the email, my whole body went, this is it. It's time to go. And at the time that I chose to do this journey, I was still a fledgling medium out in the world. I was still working full time jobs. And I clicked yes. And there's the action step. Sometimes the universe will present us with an opportunity. And it doesn't mean that the opportunity is fully in your lap. Sometimes there is an energy investment, maybe a financial investment, and a commitment on your part to step in. And so when that email came to me and it was in my heart, in my body, it all went, yes, it's time to go. I still had to click yes and make the decision to go. I still had to book the flight. I still had to go through all the steps it took to actually get my butt to Egypt. It's not like I just said, I'm going to Egypt and poof, I'm there. There was still action that needed to happen. And so whenever we manifest things, it's always important to know that you are required to show up to the manifestation. It doesn't just get fully all handed to you in perfect form. You still have to say yes. And that can sometimes be the hardest part. So, I'm going to talk in a few moments about how to get into that heart space, how to breathe in a heart to make sure you're saying yes to the right opportunities, and also how to invite an opportunity into your life. Now, why is this Egypt journey so important? At the time that I went, it was life changing for me. I came back from that job, sorry, from that journey, and I had already quit my last day job before I left, and I came back with my fingers crossed that I was going to make this work. Really happened for me, and I did. But I still had to show up. I still had to work. I had to book appointments. I had to really show up to my life. And as I did, other opportunities and people in the work were connected, and I started meeting the right people and shaking the right hands and getting invited to the right opportunities, all of which I still had to say yes to. I still had to show up for. I still had the work to create. But once I made that commitment and just said, let's give it a go, knowing I could fall fully flat on my face, by the way. And I would have found another way to pick myself up. Here's the thing about manifesting something and stepping into something is that a lot of time our fear is what's holding us back. We are afraid of the potential and B, maybe the failure of what could happen. But if there's one thing I've learned about my life is that when things don't work out, other things always I have abilities, I have skill sets. If I didn't make this work, I was still a manager of box offices and theaters and orchestras. I had a degree in journalism. I had other avenues of things that I can fall back on, and so do you. But remember that those are just tools in the box. You can use them if you need, but take the risk once in a while when the timing is right. So, the other thing about manifesting that journey, when I came back from Egypt in 2010, I had this feeling of like, maybe I want to do this one day. Maybe I want to take people on sacred journeys. I want to take them to these places to be activated and inspired as it does to me. Like when I go to Peru or Egypt or Mexico and work on these sacred sites in India, I just feel so alive. I feel like they're creating space in me to bring more to what I want to bring to the magic of my life. And I wanted to create that for people. I would do my first journey of what has been maybe about 7 or 8 journeys now at the time of this recording. I'm working on journey number 9 just to Egypt alone. It started in 2018. So it took me 8 years, really 7, because I did my first group led journey to Mexico in 2017, and then Egypt, and then Peru, and now India. And I've done several journeys since 2018. And when I went in 2010, it was just a fleeting idea that took almost 8 years to fully brew into fruition and is now becoming a major part of my work now. Now, when I started the work as a psychic medium many years ago, it was not my idea that I would be a sacred travel guide. But let me tell you, it has been an extraordinary, extraordinary addition to the work that I do. And we continue to see it grow. So, the beautiful things about things that you manifest or putting it out into the world is having the patience to let it really gel. If I had tried to push myself to do a journey sooner than the first one manifested in 2017, I may not have been ready. I look at that now. I've looked at the time of like, God, if I had done that a little bit sooner, I may not have been ready to really be the leader I needed to be. And even when I did my first journey to where I am now, I'm still learning and growing and trying to show up better to each journey. But at least when I went in 2017, I felt a little stronger and a little more clear that I could actually do this. And so, trust that even when you're putting it out into the world, if it doesn't happen right away, don't give up on your vision. Hold that space. And if it takes some years, you may have to trust that that is taking time to build in you what you may need to fully step into that manifestation. You just really never know. But the point of my whole conversation here and the teaching of this connection is that when we want to manifest something, you have to have a little love, a little patience, and some action toward that dream. And if it doesn't manifest right away, don't get discouraged and don't give up. Let it come to you and trust that the universe is, I've heard what you're asking for. We are mixing it up right here. We are working with you down there so that when this dream does come to fruition, you will be ready for it. And that's where I have learned that no matter what I intend, the universe will always provide me the opportunity when it's meant to be the right time. In the meantime, there's a whole bunch of other things I can do to keep active and to keep going. But how do we know on a heart soul level what it is that we need to create for ourselves? Of course, there's the manifesting a house or a car or $1 million income. At the end of the day, working in this place that is aligned with your soul. And if there's one thing I feel so blessed about in my life is my work is aligned with me. And I want that. I want that for all of you. I want you to all be in sync with what it is that you want to create and design in your life. So, if you want to pause the video for a quick second to go grab something, if you don't have already, maybe a pen and paper, and if you are able to sit in a quiet space with yourself for just a few short minutes with me. If not, you can come back to this recording. But if you can, go hit pause real quick, go get a piece of paper and a pen, something to write with, and then come back to this video when you're ready. Are you back? Okay, good. Maybe you never left. Let's do this next step. We're going to work with my favorite technique, the heart breath. Super easy technique. I'm going to guide you right through it. I'm going to ask you some questions. You don't have to write anything down just yet. Just allow yourself first to feel and to experience. And then later or right after, if you're ready to jot down some ideas, get it out of your head, or you can write down later, that's fine too. But let's first just do the heart breath and be in the experience with me. So, this is really easy. You can take a moment, whatever's comfortable for you, whatever's safest for you. Take a moment to soften your gaze, close your eyes wherever you feel most comfortable. If you like a softer gaze, maybe just a focal point somewhere where you can just pinpoint your gaze toward it so your eyes are not roaming, and just soften with a few gentle breaths. So, breathing in, exhaling out, and just allowing your body to soften and to relax a little bit. That softness, by the way, is so key for fluid connection and fluid manifestation. So, learning to find your soft space is really important. If we're too tense, we can block our own flow. So, doing your best to practice softening. A few minutes a day can also be a wonderful practice. You don't need a lot of time, but we're just going to take those deep and relaxing breaths. Now, once you find that softness, bring your mind fully here into your heart and just start to breathe with all of your awareness in your heart. Just breathe. Soft, gentle heart breaths. And you're going to begin to feel all of your thoughts just coming right here to your heart. Your mind starts to feel quieter. Usually, a few breaths for me is all it takes, but take as long as you need to get there. And when you feel centered in your heart, let's ask your heart a few quick questions. Let's ask first, do you feel ready and worthy to manifest your heart's desire? Hopefully, you feel, see, or know an instinctual yes would be ideal. No is okay. We're going to work with that. Yes or no. If you feel hesitant, maybe you feel hesitation. If it's not a clear no, you might feel a little hesitation. Just take a few more breaths into the heart and ask, what do I need, or where is my fear in stepping up? And just see what you feel, see, or know. What are you afraid of? Or what do you feel is holding you back? And start to send some love to that. If you're afraid of success, whatever may be coming up there, just send some love to it, honor it, feel it, and let it go. Hopefully, that will move you into a yes, I'm ready to manifest. If not, we can still work with that. If you are a yes to manifest, let's go. Let's breathe into the heart and ask your heart, what would bring me great joy to help me express the light of my soul? What would bring me great joy to help me express the unique light in my soul? Just breathe into that. How do I want to be in this world? How do I want to give to the world? Whatever's coming up there, just be with it. And lastly, ask your heart to guide you to begin to reach out. How can I begin to walk this path? I'm open to your guidance, spirit, heart. I'm ready to see the opportunities arrive. And I'm ready to step into the opportunities as they present themselves. Breathe that in. Smile, own that energy, be excited. In a world where things feel sometimes heavy, having a little bit of excitement for what can be is really important. It'll help the manifestation flow for you. And when you're ready, take a few more grounded breaths, come back to the body, open your eyes if you need to. And if you want to hit pause again, to write down what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. If you want to do that later, you're welcome to. We can always pause and come back. Jot down your thoughts, your feelings. If you're still with me or coming back after your pause, here's a few things that you can start to do every day. Work with your heart breath. Plant that seed, whatever that seed may be. I planted a seed to go to Egypt way back, and it took me over a decade to manifest it. But I kept watering that seed. I kept seeing myself in Egypt. I kept seeing myself touching the paw of the Sphinx. And I have petted that paw now about 8 times. So not only did it happen once, which I've been so grateful for, it's what I do. It's amazing to me. And I say this because every time I would think about Egypt, I would still see myself there. And I feel like the important part of manifesting is not just to put it out there, but if it's something you really desire, keep seeing it. Spend a few moments breathing into it every day, every few days. Journal about it. Hold that vision and do what you can to create flow. I'm using the Egypt one as one of my many manifestations, but one little funny thing I did with the Egypt journey is way back in my early years, my 20s, I had gotten an old big 5-gallon water jug that I maybe, acquired from one of my old jobs, and I took it home to turn it into a, coin bank. And I wrote on it in Sharpie, Egypt fund. And so every time I would put money into the water jug, I was also intending that I would build enough money to get me to Egypt. Now, at the time, I was thinking that jug would be the money that would get me to Egypt. In the end, when it finally manifested, I still had that jug of cash that I had moved with me to every apartment and place I ever lived. And I kept adding money to the Egypt fund. And I just kept thinking of myself being there one day. But when I needed to go to Egypt, I never needed to touch the actual Egypt fund that I have built there. And so now it becomes just a little way of adding energy to my manifestations, whether it's Egypt or other things I'm trying to build. Sometimes having that little moment of just adding energy, literally the physical energy of adding money toward that, whether it was a nickel or quarters or whatever, it was also just helping me build the vision of what would come. So find your little coin bank. What is something that maybe you want to put energy into, whether it is literal money or you just want to put intention toward, that will help you keep dreaming into what is meant to be. And the last thing I want to share with you today is allow flexibility in your vision. Allow the universe to have some wiggle room to make that manifestation what it needed to be. When I went to Egypt the first time, I really thought it was just going to be a quick tour, take pictures everywhere kind of place. I did not realize that I would meet my future travel guide, the guy who would guide me to bring groups to Egypt and become the tour guide. He's amazing. I love him. I did not realize at the time that on that first journey I would be getting private visits into the king's chamber and to see the pod, the Sphinx without people. And that's now the journey I create. I did not know when I was manifesting it, I just was going to be happy to sightsee. And it ended up being such an incredible experience. So, having a loose vision, but leaving room for the universe, spirit, whatever you want to label that beautiful divine source that we have to add their magic is always important. If you envision so tight, remember the tighter you hold it, the harder the flow is. So the more that you can have a clear vision, certainly put in your desire, but leave room for the universe and spirit to bring their magic because they will surprise you beyond your wildest dreams. I can say that from experience over and over and again. Anyway, I hope that this little tiny nugget of inspiration to work manifestation on a more regular basis, to work visioning what you want, to connect to your heart and align to what you want has been really helpful to you today. Please share in the comments anything you want to share, any additions you want to make to this concept. I'm happy to hear what you would like to share because we do this all together. And I hope that you have a gorgeous day. Please click and subscribe to my channel for more upcoming videos and check out my website, laurenrainbow.com. Maybe you want to join me in Egypt. We've got a journey coming up. Maybe you want to join me in India. We're working on more journeys abroad or study and develop more intuition and mediumship. laurenrainbow.com, the place to go. I hope you have a gorgeous day.